Mr. President, in Vermont and all across this country, there is growing frustration that members of Congress, mostly men, I should add, are trying to roll back the clock on women's reproductive rights, in this case, the right of women to receive contraceptive services through their insurance plans. This attack is grossly unfair, and I hope that men will stand with women in the fight to protect this very basic right. And let me add my strong belief that if the United States Senate had 83 women and 17 men rather than 83 men and 17 women, my strong guess is that a bill like this would never even make it to the floor. 2 years ago, Congress passed a health care reform that will expand health care access for over 30 million Americans who are uninsured, as well as millions of Americans who are covered through their employer. This bill is by no means perfect. I would go further, but it is a step forward in allowing us to catch up with the rest of the industrialized world that guarantee health care to all of their people as a right. Unfortunately, the amendment we are discussing today, Senator Blunt's amendment, would undermine much of the progress being made for women's health care through a new version of a so-called conscience exemption. Not just content to attack women's rights, Mr. Blunt's amendment would go even further and seeks to deny patients access to any essential health care service their employer or insurance company objects to, based simply on the employer's, quote, religious beliefs and moral convictions, end of quote. This amendment would especially have an adverse impact on women's health. Starting in August, women enrolled in new plans will have access to a range of preventative services at no cost. But allowing the kind of extreme so-called conscience clause included in the Blunt Amendment would allow an employer to refuse coverage of contraceptives, annual well-woman visits, or even treatments for both genders, like mental health services or HIV/AIDS treatment, based not on a doctor's recommendation, but on the religious belief or moral conviction of a person's employer. This is an absolutely unprecedented refusal right